Hello class, my name is Adam Neal and today I'll be presenting my project for Project 3 on suburban sprawl and environment. So for my overview and argument, I'm going to go over how anthropogenic climate change, this is a fancy word for saying human-caused climate change, and environmental degradation are causing an increase in climate disasters and irreversible ecological damage. So my argument is going to be that the rapid growth of American suburbs in recent decades is causing irreversible environmental harm. My counter argument, so cities in the United States are becoming increasingly expensive. New developments in the suburbs provide housing to new families seeking cheaper living costs. So with the rise of remote work, the suburbs are becoming a new economic hub for employers and basically those who are seeking work from home. This kind of increases the economic development and kind of opportunities in those areas. So this graphic just shows the cost of living disparity in the U.S. in the suburbs versus the downtown, and this bar graph clearly shows that it's cheaper to live in the suburbs than in the downtown area. So this just picks some U.S. cities and just the cost of living in them. So yeah, I wanted to present this as my counter argument because it kind of shows that it's way cheaper to live in the suburbs and that a lot of people are moving there. For my reason one, I'll be talking about wildfires. This is a really major issue, especially in western U.S. So I just put an image here that's showing a wildfire burning in Yosemite National Park. So I want to talk about how wildfires play a role in suburbanization, and I'll just play some graphics a little later on. So climate change is exacerbating the effects of wildfires in both intensity and extent. People just building shouldn't be building where they should be. So human developments are encroaching in the areas that are prone to wildfires. Um, so I'm going to show some graphics that show one of the wildfires I chose to demonstrate this one of my claims. So these three graphs are taken from the EBA, and these just show these are all line graphs, and these show the intensity and extent and damage caused by wildfires. So as you can see, all of these are increasing, some more than others, but you can see there's a definite increase in the intensity, and the extent and the damage caused by these wildfires. So this is a satellite view of the Campfire taken by NASA. So this shows the Campfire, which was a wildfire that burned in November of 2018 in California. And this just shows the extent of the damage. So it zooms in, you can see all the orange and red is just how the damage caused by the wildfire. The red is the most severe damage caused, and yellow is just the areas that have some damage. And basically, this kind of shows like how wildfires are like encroaching into more populated areas and how they're burning more homes down. And I think this image really shows this is a satellite view of the damage caused by these wildfires. So for my reason two, I'm going to go over water shortages. This is also a really major issue, especially in the southwest part of the United States. So this photo I actually took of Folsom Lake in California in August of 2020. So I was actually standing on probably a good 20 feet of water. So if you look up, there's probably about 20 feet of water above me. And as you can see, the lake is now just reduced to what it was when it wasn't dammed up. It was a river. So I want to talk about this a little bit later as well. So the relationship between water shortages and suburbs in the nation is that there is a lot of rapid population growth, especially in the southern regions of the United States, and this kind of increases water demand. Climate change induced drought, especially in dry regions, makes water bills more expensive, and there's probably a lot less to go around. So as more people move in these areas, water that is originally supplied to farms through irrigation is being cut out, and it's kind of ruining people's livelihoods there because there's less water to go around. So there's a kind of a priority for like residential to have water first, then farms. So this is kind of a major issue, especially in like the southwest regions. So this graph shows the current US drought map as of April 21st, 2022. So as you can see, the red areas are areas with the most extreme drought, while the yellow and orange are more moderate. So the white is completely absent of drought. So I wanted to show this just to show areas that are suffering from like water shortages and how it's distributed in the United States, which is mostly distributed in the western part of the country. So this is taken from the Bureau of Reclamation. So this shows the historical and projected outflow of the Colorado River versus demand. So as you can see, there is right now it's at this tipping point where demand and outflow is about around the same, but as you can see, the projected demand is supposed to be increasing while the outflow is being stationary and slowly decreasing. So I want to show this because it shows the Colorado River is kind of the lifeline in the Southwest, and this kind of shows how demand is gonna exceed in the near future compared to outflow. So for my third reason, it's going to be loss of biodiversity. So this image kind of shows example of this. These are new developments where I used to live on the opposite side of the freeway, and they're basically just tearing up this entire mountain. This is taken near Sacramento, California. So how does suburbanization play a role in decreasing biodiversity? So in general, the growth of U.S. cities and suburbs are decreasing the diversity of plants and animals and putting species at risk or endangered. So endangered animals are at risk of extinction from habitat loss. This can be caused by the draining of wetlands, the clearing of forests, and topsoil removal for like construction sites. Um, and this is caused by the encroachment of the suburbs and new housing developments and like um, the expansion of human developments, basically. So this graphic shows the projected urban cause habitat loss from 2000 to 2030, and this is more of a worldwide graphic to show that this is not just a problem in the United States. As you can see, a lot of the area like Brazil and China, there's a lot of habitat loss, and you can see it zooms into certain parts of the U.S. and different countries. And you can see they're all in red is basically where habitat is being cleared out and used for different purposes. So these two pictures are just before and after photos of a wetland area where I used to live about a mile down from my house. So these are taken in 2012 and 2020 of the same month. And as you can see on 2012, this was a wetland kind of forested area. And then they started developing about of 4 years ago, and now it's all built up, and they have drained the wetland and filled it in and put houses on there. So as you can see, there's a stark contrast between these two images and how it's being built over. So yeah, this has personally affected me as well because I've seen it with my own eyes. For my conclusions and call to action, it's important to change the way we make towns and cities and to make it sustainable as it will be necessary to mitigate the effects of climate change. Creating higher density zones is basically just more vertical developments instead of like making the single family homes horizontally. This encourages pedestrian travel and doesn't it can limit the horizontal expansion of U.S. suburbs in favor of townhouses slash apartments. Conserving the resources we have available is vital for U.S. cities to be sustainable in the future. So here are my sources. So I got all my sources mainly from the UNM Library Catalog and government kind of organization websites. For my counter argument, I did get it from the Perspective, which is kind of like a magazine kind of website which shows different perspectives of different like topics that can be debated. And this is the end for Project Free for my argument and research slideshow slash screencast. Thank you and have a good day. So for my reflection for Project 3, I'm just going to be over what stating on here and how it ties to my project. Um, so for overall for Project 3, I'm gonna reflect on how I made it and how I can do better in the future and how the whole process was and my difficulties and what was easy for me basically. So Project 3, I was originally gonna do a poster and just do a screencast and that, but I realized my rhetorical situation, I needed to set something a bit more involved, a bit more putting more information on. So I just decided to go back to what I really did for Project 1, was do a screencast on in Microsoft PowerPoint. And that really worked out for me because I think that for me it's probably the easiest way to do a screencast because you have a lot of information on to do it. For me, it was I would say it's a lot. It was I had a lot of easier time working on this, or editing the video and everything than I did in my previous projects. But I got used to it most likely. Um, I would say this from outside experiences. That my topic of like suburbanization, as I went in, I talked about how these housing developments that are near me were like being built up and how it's destroying the environment. I wanted to incorporate some pictures I took in because it really helped like helped my, support my argument as well. And so that I experienced these as we talked about class that kind of has a have a specific connection to the individual. Um, I would say that it can be concluded that my situation, my personal situation of me experience this like head on, kind of helped me present it in a way where I kind of had a personal connection, and I kind of wanted people to understand. Like I want to get a whole point that like, hey, we need to do something about this because if we don't, there's going to be like more wildfires, going to be more droughts. We need to figure out a sustainable way to build our developments, and so regarding my personal action plans, what I'll probably do differently next time is I'm probably just gonna like refine it a bit more. I don't honestly, I didn't have a whole lot of time to work on this, but I had enough time to make it quality and do research on the UNM library catalog. So I honestly, I really enjoyed this project. I feel it turned out really well. I did use a different program this time. I used in the built. I discovered that I used that the Microsoft PowerPoint actually has a built-in um, thing to record your presentation. Out there is a lot easier to use. Of course, I'm still using the my built-in screencast for these for the reflection and SRL goals. But overall, I think this project was really fun to do, and I really enjoyed it.